Welcome! This is Omega Roboto, a 2-6 player limited communication co-op game, where you take the role of kids, a dog, and a grandma, piloting the same giant robot together to save the day. To set up, pick an episode from the guide and set the board according to it. The game's goal varies according to each episode, and this one is to defeat the boss monster. Each player picks a robot part to pilot, shuffles their action cards, and draws 3. The red pilot, or the best leader of the group, gets the first turn token. The game happens in 4 phases: planning, action, monsters, and maintenance. In planning, with all talking in clockwise order from the first player, each player plays a face-down card on either the left or the right side of the action roll. You may spend 1 energy to review the card you played. Anyone can also play their pilot card face revealed instead of an action by discarding a card. Once everyone has played a card, go to the action phase. Review all played action cards and execute them from left to right. Now you can chat freely. First, a card adds its heat, then energy and shield values to the panel board. But stay alert, if energy reaches 0 or heat 6, the monster will interrupt the action. After that, do the box effects. Attacks do that amount of damage in either melee, ranged, or an area. Melee attacks can only hit targets adjacent to Omega. Ranged attacks hit the first thing in a straight line from Omega. These spaces must be connected in a row. Area attacks hit everything in the described red area, from the robot's position, the blue space. In this case, Rocket Fist, a ranged attack, hits a minion right away for 2 damage, defeating it. Whenever a minion is down, everyone draws a new card. Movements can move Omega up to the number of spaces, either by ground or flying, the difference being that flying movements can fly over monsters and buildings. Let's use Teleport to move only 2 spaces and land on that rescue tile. If you land on the tile after a movement, do its effects. Rescue tiles are saved and can be activated every turn for extra effects. Place them on the panel board. The welder we rescue can be reactivated right away to add 1 shield to the panel. Stepping on fire hazard tiles increases heat by 2, remove it from the board. Electricity recharges the energy by 2, but makes the monster react, remove them too. Stepping on water reduces heat by 2. After each action, players gotta keep an eye open for any combo conditions that were met. If so, you may activate the combo by doing its effects. Everyone must strike the combo's pose and yell its name together. Boom Drop requires shield to be at 4 and makes Omega fly 2 tiles and do 2 damage in an area around it. That's enough to defeat both minions and damage Nomu Nomu. Remember to draw a card for each minion defeated. Now it's the monsters phase. Monsters have 3 main behaviors. Each behavior will make it move up to a number of spaces and do an action if the conditions are met. In Chase, it moves that number towards Omega or until adjacent and attacks it if adjacent. In Eat, they will move towards the closest building and destroy it if adjacent. In Shoot, the monster will move away from Omega while trying to keep a clear line of sight. If there's an uninterrupted line of spaces, it attacks Omega. If a building is blocking it, destroy the building instead. In this phase, all minions will act first with their episode behavior, but since there's no minion on the board, nothing happens. The giant monster will act according to how much heat there is on the panel. In the case of Nomu Nomu, if heat is 3 or less, it will eat 2, moving 2 spaces towards the closest building and eating it if adjacent. If it's 4 or more, it will chase 2, moving 2 spaces towards Omega and attacking if adjacent. It is hot, so the monster moves and attacks Omega. Since Nomu Nomu is already adjacent, it doesn't need to move, just attack. When that happens, roll a die. If the result is greater than the amount of shield, everyone takes damage. When taking damage, all players must discard a card from the top of your draw pile, or hand if the pile is empty. The last phase is maintenance. Check if there are any buildings still standing, or cards in players' hands. If not, you'll lose the game. On the panel board, cut the heat by half, set the shield to 0, and refresh use allies. Place unactivated combos on the bottom of the combo deck and draw 2 new. Action roll cards are moved to each player's respective discard pile besides their pilot card. Played pilot cards return to their players. Pass the first player token clockwise and a new turn starts. That's it! You're ready to kick monster butts. Omega Beatdown, initialize! Thanks for watching. Join your mailing list and social networks through the links in the description. Omega Roboto is free to play in Tabletop Simulator, so go and have fun!